It wasn't supposed to go in. The ball left Stephen Curry's hands from way beyond the logo, a desperate heave that should have been impossible. But for a split second, the entire arena froze. And then it dropped, clean, nothing but net. The crowd erupted, the Clippers bench couldn't believe it, and Curry just smiled, like he'd done it 1,000 times before. But this moment wasn't just another deep three. It was the shot that broke the game wide open, the spark in a night that spiraled into pure chaos, where the Warriors clawed their way back from what looked like certain defeat. This wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was the moment that made everyone watching ask the same question: is Stephen Curry even human anymore? But before that shot, the game looked completely different. And it all started with the Warriors falling apart. The first quarter told a completely different story. The Clippers came out locked in relentless defense, fast breaks, and confidence that screamed, "This game is ours." Within minutes, the scoreboard read 24-12, and the Warriors looked rattled. Curry couldn't find his rhythm. 2 early misses from deep, a turnover, and a look on his face that said he knew they weren't ready. Klay tried to spark something, but even his mid-range jumper rimmed out. Every possession felt heavy, slow, and disconnected. Meanwhile, the Clippers played like a team with something to prove. Kawhi Leonard was methodical, Harden was orchestrating with ease, and even their bench looked alive. Every bucket felt like a message: we're not scared of Golden State anymore. By the end of the first quarter, the Warriors were down double digits. The energy in Chase Center was quiet, that uncomfortable silence that creeps in when fans start wondering if tonight just isn't their night. But then, somewhere between frustration and focus, something clicked. Curry looked at his teammates and gave that subtle nod, the one every Warriors fan recognizes, the one that means it's time. And from that moment, the game started to shift. Early in the second quarter, something shifted. The Warriors bench was quiet, heads down, until Gary Payton II checked in. On his first possession, he cut through traffic, caught a quick pass from Curry, and slammed it home with authority. It wasn't just 2 points, it was a spark. You could feel the air change. The crowd, silent for nearly 10 minutes, suddenly woke up. The bench jumped to its feet. And Curry? He grinned, the dangerous grin that means he's about to turn the game inside out. Next play, Curry comes down the court, shakes off a double team, and drills a deep three right in Harden's face. Bang! Then another. Suddenly, the Clippers' confidence started to fade. That's the thing about the Warriors, they don't just score points, they flip momentum like a switch. One moment, you're cruising with a lead. The next, you're drowning in a flood of threes. The Clippers called timeout, but it was too late. The rhythm was back, the energy was back, and most importantly, Curry was back. And if history has taught us anything, when he catches fire, chaos follows. Then came the surprise no one saw coming, the rookie. Most fans barely knew his name. He'd been quiet all season, sitting at the end of the bench, waiting for a chance. But that night, when Coach Kerr pointed down the line and called his number, the kid stepped onto the court like he had nothing to lose. First possession, baseline cut, reverse layup. Then a defensive stop on Paul George that made the crowd lose it. Suddenly, this unknown rookie was everywhere, crashing the boards, fighting for loose balls, doing all the little things that change momentum without showing up on the stat sheet. You could see the confidence spreading. Curry fed him on a fast break, easy dunk. The arena exploded. For a few minutes, it wasn't about legends or all-stars, it was about a kid playing fearless basketball against giants. And that energy was contagious. Klay started hitting shots again, Draymond locked in defensively, and the Warriors looked alive. The Clippers were still up, but you could feel the pressure building. Because when a team like Golden State starts believing again, when even the rookie is shining, you know what comes next. The calm before the storm. And that storm had a name: Stephen Curry. Midway through the third quarter, the entire arena felt it, that strange stillness that comes right before something historic. The Warriors were down by 4, the shot clock winding down, and Curry had the ball near half court. He glanced at the clock, took one dribble past the logo, and let it fly. The crowd gasped. It wasn't a good shot. Not by normal standards. But for Steph, normal doesn't exist. The ball sailed through the air like it was moving in slow motion. Swish, nothing but net. The building exploded. Fans were on their feet, cameras flashing, the commentators losing their minds. Even the Clippers bench froze, a mix of disbelief and that quiet acceptance that comes when you realize you're witnessing something you can't stop. And the craziest part? Curry didn't even celebrate. He just turned around, head down, shaking his shoulders with that half smile that says, "I told you so." That single shot flipped everything. Momentum gone, crowd possessed. The Clippers, suddenly, weren't the hunters anymore, they were the ones being hunted. And from there, it became chaos. Because when Curry starts hitting shots like that, logic stops mattering, and the game turns into pure art. The final minutes were pure madness. The Clippers were desperate to take control again, but every time they scored, Curry answered faster, louder, meaner. Kawhi hit a tough mid-range jumper, Curry came back with a step-back three from the corner. Harden drew a foul and sank both free throws, Curry drove through 3 defenders and floated it high off the glass. The game turned into a duel, the kind where every possession felt like the last. Then came the wild sequence. Draymond snatched a rebound, pushed the break, and threw a no-look pass to Klay. 3. Tie game. The crowd lost it. The Clippers called timeout, but it was already too late. The Warriors were feeding off the noise, off each other, off that electricity only they can create. With seconds left, the Clippers tried to trap Curry. Bad idea. He split the double team, took one dribble, and pulled up from deep again. Swish. The building shook. Fans screamed so loud you could barely hear the whistle. Curry just stood there, calm in the chaos, staring down the court like he'd already seen the ending. Because this wasn't just another comeback, it was a reminder. No matter how far down they fall, as long as number 30's on the court, the Warriors are never out of it. When the buzzer finally sounded, the Warriors bench stormed the court. The scoreboard showed what nobody would have believed an hour earlier: Golden State on top. The comeback was complete. Curry had 38 points, but numbers didn't tell the story. It wasn't just the shots, it was the timing, the poise, the way he pulled the team out of chaos and turned it into rhythm. Every time the Clippers thought they had him figured out, he broke the game again. The rookie who'd barely seen playing time? He walked off the floor to a standing ovation. Draymond wrapped an arm around him, and Curry gave him a nod that said, "You earned this one." Moments like that don't show up in the box score, but they build something deeper: trust. On the Clippers' side, the faces said it all: frustration, respect, and maybe a little disbelief. Because when you play the Warriors, you're not just facing a team, you're facing a storm that can strike from anywhere, anytime. And at the center of that storm is Stephen Curry, calm, smiling, and quietly rewriting the limits of what's possible on a basketball court. But even after a night like that, one question still hung in the air: how long can he keep doing this? Every era has its defining moments, the kind that remind people why they fell in love with the game in the first place. And this one? It belonged entirely to Stephen Curry. It wasn't just another highlight reel performance. It was a statement. A reminder that even after all the records, the rings, and the history, he can still find new ways to shock the world. The shot from the logo, the impossible comeback, the rookie stepping up, the crowd losing their minds. It all blended into one of those rare nights where time seemed to slow down, and everyone watching knew they were witnessing something special. That's what separates Curry. It's not just his shooting, it's the way he changes everything: how defenders panic before he even crosses half court, how his presence alone can flip the energy of an entire arena. And as the team walked off the floor, you could feel it, that unspoken truth every opponent already knows. You can outplay the Warriors for 47 minutes, build the perfect game plan, do everything right, and still lose. Because when Stephen Curry decides the game is his, there's nothing you can do to stop it. The legend grows: another impossible night in a career built on them. And if this is what he's doing now, imagine what's coming when the stakes are even higher.